Okay, so this is an urgent message. I was bored, which made me think of how Geminis get so easily bored, which made me realize I have to do a Gemini reading like immediately, because there's urgent Gemini matters. I didn't even have the time to put this towel away to make it seem like I'm not a mess, because Geminis are like that. They're just like, I got a million things going on, and also just like they're kind of nervous, and they're kind of like a little, I wouldn't say impulsive, but just maybe worried, but also like there's like 7 pots boiling, okay? Like metaphorically in their lives. Okay, so there were no time for cards, Gemini. There were no time. And I also am feeling this like sort of funny energy from you. It's like very like, well, this is the hand I was dealt. There wasn't even time to take my coat off, okay? I think that you've been through something recently that's been very transformative. Maybe like a new work opportunity or new relationship, or both, or maybe moving, relocating, or some sort of like travel experience, or even just mind travel. Maybe you're like working with a healer or a therapist that's new for you, or like a group. I think that there's been some sort of like schism. I love that word, which means like a split or like a fracture between you and something. I think actually it's a part of yourself, because I think you had a lot of, maybe, I'm feeling like physical pain, like a physical, like maybe you had like a broken bone or like an operation, something you had to recover from, okay? And or maybe it was like even just a weight problem, and you found either under or overweight, and you found a way to manage your nutrition better. There's been a recovery process physically and mentally here, and I think that you're like seeing life differently. I just saw like an image of someone on the top of a mountain, but specifically I see a really long path to that mountain. I think you've been through a lot of hurdles and stuff. I like to get into the 12th house stuff a lot, and the 2nd house stuff. Those are like my favorite houses. So I'm sorry, I can't help myself. It's like totally irrelevant. A lot of astrologers like don't care, but I see it as everything, because 2nd house is our self-esteem. It's where we live. It's how we get income. So that's a big deal. And also the 12th house is our subconscious, which rules so much of what we do and who we are, and is really also, it's about our past lives, and it can be representative of early life as well, and the ascendant can be as well. Anyway, so Gemini, your 12th house is in Taurus, right? And your 2nd house is in Cancer. So like you have a lot of actually capacity for money to just come to you intuitively. A lot of you may have like come from some wealth, even though you may not see it that way. You may that hit hard for me. Okay, I think you're seeing now through some experience you've been through that actually how privileged you are and how lucky you are, because you've been through some sort of financial hurdle or like and health hurdle, and you've seen like, wow, maybe you had to stop working for a while, or like maybe you lost a job and you were out of work, and you were like, wow, I'm not used to living this way. This is so tough. Yeah. And by the way, these readings, if you're not a Gemini, you can still watch this if the energy speaks to you, and if you have prominent Gemini in the chart too. But if it just intuitively speaks to you, you can watch it. Wow, there may be like stuff that you have to like crack, like, because I think maybe going to a chiropractor or some back doctor. I'm seeing like back issues for you, which the upper back can be our Louise Hay would say our emotional support, and the lower back is the financial support. So depending on where your back pain is, you might want to think about those things. But I think that this new perspective of seeing how lucky you are is actually going to bring you into a new place where you're seeing how healed you are. even if you have had some long-term malady and maybe it's something that's incurable, but you're seeing it differently now and you're seeing things differently. I still feel, Gemini, that there's going to be more challenges upcoming. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm trying to prepare you that as a seer, what I see when I look at your energy, what any Gemini watching this, is some realization of more depth coming for you. Not that you're not a depthful person, but some experience in the next 6 months that's going to, and basically like give you more enlightenment than what is happening now. It's not going to be something traumatic. It's not going to be something bad. It's going to be another perspective shift. I do read witch stuff, Wiccan stuff, really, the revival of like pagan witch stuff, which they say things come in threes. So if this is the first sort of awakening, you can count on there maybe 2 more. That's just how I like to think of it. And also, what we get, I don't know why I'm being called to share this witch philosophy. Okay, so here's a few things for you, Gemini, because maybe you're thinking about manifesting things and you feel like you can't. So first of all, there's the witch's pyramid, and one of my, I think it's to know, to will, I don't know all of them. It's like different things of like action for making like a spell happen. And the to know would be like knowing about the arts of Wicca. To will would be like, what do I desire? My favorite, there's 2 more, I forget. One's more like ethical and one's like, I think to act maybe is one of them. Sorry, my shoulder is bothering. Maybe you have a shoulder that's bothering you too. I feel like I really tune into people's bodies with these readings, and I feel like since this side of my body is sort of hurting, I think that like maybe you're like sleeping like sideways or something. You might want to like check that out. Like just rearrange how you sleep maybe. Anyway, so back to my favorite thing is the silent, to be silent. It's the top of the pyramid, because to be silent is and you're a sign of communication. So you may not know when to shut the F up. Not just literally, but like mentally. Like we need that quiet space so that we can come back online with all these wonderful ideas that you have, Gemini, all the information that you give people, and I was going to say the 12th house in Taurus can also mean a deep love for the arts and, just things that are nice, like beautiful things. And with your 2nd house in Cancer, usually that, for me, that means that the Gemini person likes to build a house of hearth and home. Like, you like to set up house and play family, because Cancer rules family and childhood. You want to have children, but that may not always happen for the Gemini, because there's 2 sides. But you may enjoy children. You have a youthful essence. All Geminis do. I think being silent right now in your life could really channel some energy that you don't know existed. Like, you may be being so talkative that Spirit's not able to get things to you, because it's hard when there's so much noise to hear. And ditto for other things. Like, you may just need to listen more. I can feel the reading leaving me because my back's feeling better and I'm feeling your energy leave me. But I think also with the bringing up the witch stuff, there was something more specific and pointed, a reason that I brought that up. Oh, just the rule of 3, that whatever you put out comes back in 3. So remember that if you're feeling like you aren't sure of something, because a lot of Geminis can be confused, because they're like, what about this? What about that? You're seeing both sides. Also, if you have like some Gemini stuff in your chart, like maybe you have like Mercury conjunct Sun, which can be very Gemini-like. Or just like Mars and Gemini, Mercury Gemini, or like some whatever, even North Node Gemini, Ascendant Gemini, Moon Gemini. It doesn't matter if you're Sun in Gemini, or just, as I said, you don't have to have Gemini in the chart. And also sometimes Gemini is weirdly in the chart, like in like places we don't know. Like if you do your midpoints, you might see them in some interesting locations. But I was gonna say, don't put that confusion out into the world. I want you to ground yourself and choose a stance. You may change your mind later. You're so changeable and mutable. But for now, choose a stance and then go meet the world. Because if you meet the world with your confusion, it's just gonna be mirrored back to you. And also just be a little more sure of yourself. I feel like I try to put into account with whatever reading I'm doing, my last couple days, my last 24 hours, because I know it's what I'm channeling, the energy of whatever reading's coming up. And so I think just from what I've been experiencing, you need to realize that there's a lot of people in the world you need to not take things so personally. Because I'm seeing that like your energy, that's part of the body stuff, you're being affected by like your thoughts, which are a lot about like people, and also Cancer. I mean, the second house in Cancer can mean some of your self-esteem comes from your emotional depth with people, which people wouldn't imagine with Gemini, and from your caretaking skills, which again, people are like, it's an air sign. How are they like emotional? Their second house is in Cancer, okay? They want to feel good about themselves, and they give that, and that would mean that they give that caretaking in the home. So, I was gonna say, if you're feeling confused about something in your life, and you're feeling like you can't see which side is which, oh God, now I'm thinking about Dr. Seuss. I feel like I had something really profound to say before, but this is actually the more profound message, which came up in another reading, and I'm just going to re-quote the same quote. It says, I can't remember exactly the beginning. It's like, be who you are and say what you need, something like that. I'll put the real quote below. But then the part that I like is, because those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. So be who you are and say what you want. I'll put the real quote below. Because those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. And so a lot of people may be like coming at you with negative energy, and it's like, you don't have to get into it with them or waste any energy on it. It's not your job. And also, you don't have to take on their energy, because Geminis can be very healing. People don't even think of that, because the Gemini rules the caduceus? I can't talk. It's like the stick with the two snakes around it that stands for medical healing. Gemini does rule medical healing. People don't know that. So I feel like maybe you are like a little, actually now I'm getting like overwhelmed with the caretaking, and you need to reel it in a little bit, because I'm now feeling confused in your energy. You might want to get into some DBT therapy, because that will show you that both sides are valid, and that will actually help you pick a side. I know it sounds like it wouldn't, but it actually is like someone helping you. If you go to a DBT therapist, it's like someone helping you make a pros and cons list. But anyway, I hope you figure it out, and I hope you remember the Dr. Seuss quote. And, you know, I was saying with people being crazy in the world and not taking it personally, you know, speak up for yourself, but know when to hold back your Gemini speech. Your speech is like powerful, okay? You rule your rural communication. So whether you're a singer or just like a powerful speaker, or like you give speeches for your job, or you're like a healer, or like a therapist, whatever it is, you know, or you're a writer, what you say matters and it hits people. So actually, I'm saying not everyone deserves what you have to say. And I'm also not saying give people the silent treatment, withhold, because that's like really a horrible thing to do. And some Geminis do that too, because they play like rule game playing, and they love sort of to mind F people, no offense, because they're bored. Anyway, so that's about solid communication too. Like, it's up to you. How are you going to play with the world? How are you going to talk to them? And how do you want it to speak back to you?